everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're talking Hellboy, Seed of Destruction. Hey everybody, welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're diving into our Hellboy reads, and this is Seed of Destruction. Now, this is an older trade. If you're looking for this in particular, you might only find it digitally. You might find it in an older bookstore, your comic book store, whatever. Most people will probably find the Hellboy omnibuses, which I have two of them over here. I started collecting Hellboy when that first movie came out with Guillermo del Toro, Ron Perlman. So that's why this one says, now a major motion picture. This is not the David Harbour sticker. This is the original Hellboy sticker. So 2003, I think for Christmas, I got the first couple of these old Dark Horse editions. So this is volume 1. This is the first Hellboy story to be collected, to be told in like a miniseries, Seed of Destruction. And this is pretty much what that first movie, Guillermo del Toro movie with Ron Perlman, is based on. I'm surprised about how much of that movie is different from this. Like, this kind of takes place all in one location. And you can tell, like, watching that movie, or just me recalling that movie, really, I love that first movie. How much of like the future character development from the Hellboy comics was poured into the movie, because all that is not in this book. For beginning Hellboy fans, this is the place to start. However, I would say do not stop here. I'm already reading the next volume, at least the way these are collected, as Wake the Devil. And that story already feels a little bit more like Hellboy than this one does. This one is a bit different. Let me explain. So you'll see on here Mike Mignola, John Byrne. John Byrne, you say, Brent? That's right, John Byrne. John Byrne, legendary Superman writer and artist, Fantastic Four writer, artist extraordinaire, does the script in here. And I think that's where the difference becomes. You have the story by Mike Mignola, art, inks, all that by Mike Mignola. And he's doing a phenomenal job. This is the Mike Mignola style we all kind of remember. Although his Hellboy here is a little bit more built, a little bit more blocky than he becomes in later issues, if what I recall. So he's still there, but it's still Hellboy. It's still great. I think the difference here is the script by John Byrne. So obviously he's writing all the dialogue and just doesn't have that Hellboy charm yet. There's a little bit of it here. But it's not the smarmy Hellboy that you get in later volumes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you read this, stick with it. If you're interested in reading what truly Hellboy is, I'm 2 issues into Wake the Devil, the next volume, the next storyline, and it already feels more like Hellboy than this one did. Even though this is actually the starting place to start. Why is it the place to start, Brent? Well, you have the introduction of Rasputin, who is actually the guy that summons Hellboy here. You learn about the Ogdru Juhad, which are these 7 prehistoric monster gods living in these stones, and Hellboy is an instrument meant to set them free. Like, the whole prophecy of Hellboy is all set up in this volume. So if you want to see where he ends up, I believe at the end of Hellboy in Hell, which I haven't read yet, so I don't want to spoil for myself, but I believe there is a prophecy set up here, and I do believe Mike Mignola finishes that prophecy, that whole story, at the end of that Hellboy in Hell storyline. So start here, and I would say keep going. If you read the next volume or 2 and it's not for you, or maybe you're buying the new version of these, the new omnibuses, and this is in the first omnibus, keep going after this first storyline, and if you don't like it after that first omnibus, then maybe Hellboy isn't for you. But I really like the charm here. And the charm of the movie is present in this book because the book came first, but it's just the movie is enhanced because it had more comics to draw from. It had Mike Mignola having found his voice. Like, Mike Mignola hadn't really found his voice yet here in the Hellboy comics. He found his art style, he found his characters, but he hadn't really found his confident writing voice. And he does that in the next volume. So that's why I'm saying Hellboy, Seed of Destruction is the starting place, but I would say just like Stephen King's novel, The Gunslinger, it's the starting place of that storyline, but it's not the best novel. And that same thing applies here for Seed of Destruction. So with all that said, let me know down below what you thought of Hellboy, Seed of Destruction. We'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.